Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm here today to film a video I am super excited about. So I haven't filmed my favourite books of the year yet. I am going to be filming it either today or sometime this week, but I decided that I was going to do a separate video about my favourite graphic novels of the year because I love graphic novels and I feel like this year has been a year where I've really focused and let myself read as many as I want. I really enjoyed that and I've read some absolutely great ones. So I've picked 5 favourite graphic novels and I have some honourable mentions as well that I thought I would just tell you about today. It is Sunday and so I'm basically just in pyjamas. I've put a jacket on so it makes it look less like I'm just in a pyjama top, but I am just in a pyjama top and I'm fine with it because I'm lazy and it's Sunday, and who gets dressed on a Sunday? Not me. The first one, what are they called? Zine. It's a zine. And it is Food Baby by Luchie. I loved this. This is one of the things that I picked up from Thought Bubble in November and it's really stuck with me and I just absolutely love it. It's so fun. This woman talking about all the food she likes. She gives you some recipes. She talks about when she was a kid and she didn't like food and she never ate anything, and then one day she had an operation because there was something wrong with her throat, and as soon as she got better it was like, oh my god, I like food, I can taste things. And it's literally like an ode to food and it's wonderful. Such a brilliant read. I absolutely loved it. The illustrations are just really wonderful and simple, but also just absolutely hilarious. I absolutely loved it. It's very like Relish by Lucy and Knisley, but better in my opinion. And yeah, we know I love a non-fiction graphic type of deal and this is right up there for me. So this was absolutely great. Loved this. And then my other honourable mention is a series and it is Snotgirl by Bryan and Leslie Hung. I'm a bit annoyed about this graphic novel series and that's why I haven't put it in the list. It's only an honourable mention. It's not really the graphic novel's fault, but I ordered the 3rd volume. I pre-ordered it, so I should have got it like November when it came out, and right now, even now, I'm getting emails from Amazon saying, we are still trying to send out your copy of Snotgirl Volume 3. Maybe it'll come soon. And I'm like, what's the difficulty? I don't understand what's going on. So that's quite annoying. It's getting on me. I'm irritated. But the series itself is wonderful. I don't usually read comics that are this kind of comic, like edition, just because I don't really enjoy them. They're usually very plot driven, whereas this one is really character driven and I absolutely adore it. The illustrations just use the most vibrant colour palette that I absolutely love. In it we follow Lottie, and Lottie is a fashion blogger. She's basically an influencer and we just follow her life, but she is on some tablets to deal with her allergies, which is why it's called Snotgirl. She has a lot of allergies. I think it's like hay fever and things like that. The medication is kind of making her see things, but is she seeing things or are they happening? There's a little bit of a like thriller element, a little bit of a weird element, but yeah, really grounded in character, which is what I like. So honourable mention for this series. It's the only like a proper series like the ones that have the numbers down here. It's the only one of those at the minute that I'm really invested in and that I'm like, I've pre-ordered the next volume. Like that's the level that I'm invested, and I don't usually get that with these types of graphic novels, so it's got to have an honourable mention for that because it's impressive. So then we have my top 5. Now what I'm going to say first is the book that's in second I don't have a copy of. I do have a copy of it, but I've lent it out to someone, so I don't have it physically with me, but I will show you a picture, try and show you some pictures of the illustrations so you can get a feel for it. And another one, it's 2 books, not one, like with Snotgirl. It's like one story but it's 2 books, but I'm counting it as one. This is number 5 and it is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valera O'Connell. I read it in the summer. I took it on holiday with me to Ireland, I remember now. So I read this in the summer. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it could be very unlikable for people. The art style itself is very strange. It's kind of black and white but with these touches of like a salmon pink, which I feel like a lot of people might not get on with very well. I did. I thought it was really good, and it kept it very simple. It kept you focused very much on the story. So I really liked it. But yeah, I can see why it's got some criticism for that. Again, a character-driven graphic novel that I very much enjoyed. We also have some queer characters, and in this we are following Freddie. Freddie has been going out with a girl called Laura Dean, but kind of not been going out with her. She's basically one of those people who's like there for you when they want you, and then they see someone else and they run off after them and kind of leave her, and then she wants her again, then she don't want her. And it's all about Freddie's sort of low opinion of herself, allowing someone else to treat her like that and to do that to her. I find that really relatable. Like, I have really low self-esteem, and it can really affect my relationships sometimes, where I can let people take advantage of me, and I have done that in past relationships. So I find that that was done really well, and something that I really appreciated being shown in fiction, because I don't think you see that a lot. There is like the blossoming of a new relationship in this, but they don't focus on it, and it becomes a story about Freddie and about Freddie developing and becoming a better version of herself, a version of herself that she accepts and loves, and just learning to be okay with herself. There is this like relationship that you're like, is this a relationship? Is this an interest? So it's there, so you get the feelings from that, but Tamaki and O'Connell don't focus on that. They kind of focus more on Freddie being better instead, and I really liked that. I thought that was a really smart move, so would highly recommend this one. This is in at number 5. Next we have a book that maybe some wouldn't count as a graphic novel, maybe they'd count it as a picture book. I don't know, I don't care. I'm putting it in here anyway because it's just like graphic stuff in it. I didn't know that this book existed. I read a book by these two collaborators before and absolutely adored it. It was one of my favourite like graphic things that I'd ever read. I went into a Waterstones and saw this book and was like, oh my god, how does this exist? How did I not know? Bought it automatically, took it home, read it automatically, and absolutely adored it. So in at number 4 we have Louis Undercover by Fanny, Britt and Isabelle Arsenault. So these are the two collaborators behind Jane the Fox and Me, which is a story I absolutely love. This is no different. I actually think I like this one better than Jane the Fox and Me, which is hard to say because I really love that story, but this one's just a bit longer. We have a bit more of a character focus and more like development throughout, which I really like. And in this we are following this family. So we've got a dad, a mum and 2 little boys. We kind of follow the older of the brothers, and the younger of the brothers doesn't really understand everything that's going on, but we see them going between their mothers and their fathers. They've clearly recently split up, and it becomes apparent that the reason that they've split up is not because they don't love each other, it's because the dad has alcohol dependency issues and he is really struggling with it. It's really hard because you're reading it through the eyes of these children. You see what they see and what they think they see, but you're like understanding it at a different level and understanding like how much this mum and dad are still in love with each other, but how much this like alcoholism is like this huge thing that is destroying their ability to be together. And it's done so well and so poignantly. I absolutely adored it. The art style is obviously wonderful because how could it not be? Like, I absolutely love it. It's all done with like shading and stuff. There's hardly any colour, but when it is used, it's kind of used as an accent to what's going on. So like here there's just one little bit of colour used to kind of make it clear that there's like a sunset and give it a bit of an atmosphere itself. I really recommend this. I really loved it. It's an expensive investment, I'm not gonna lie, but it is absolutely wonderful and definitely one of my faves. I really want to reread this soon because I've only read it once back in like October, I think. I want to go back to it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was adorable, so we loved this one. This is in a number 4. What do we think of the cup that I got for Christmas? Crazy Penguin Lady. That's me. Very excited to have that title. So at number 3 we have a graphic novel that I think will be of no surprise to anyone. It's probably the favourite graphic novel of like everyone at the minute because everyone seems to be reading it. Everyone seems to love it and they love it for a reason. It's fantastic. And it is Heartstopper volumes 1 and 2. This is the one where I said there's 2 books but it's like one story. This is just a wonderful graphic novel series that I absolutely adore. I used to read it on Tumblr. She was bringing it out, I think she brought it out on Tapas, but she was bringing it out on Tumblr, and that's why I was reading it on. And I keep up to date with that. I was talking to Kaz and Cats and Camera, and she was saying how like she tries to leave it for ages so that when she reads it she can like binge it and read like a load of pages at once. I was like, I try and do that every single fucking time, but every single fucking time I just go on and read it anyway because I can't make myself wait to read it. That's annoying, but I love this story. So this is about Nick and Charlie. Nick and Charlie are in school. We start off kind of seeing them separately. We learn about Charlie and how he came out of school. He was bullied for coming out of school. That's kind of past now, but he's in a very toxic relationship. And then we have Nick, who is very, very popular. He's in the year above. He is really into sports and stuff like that. Him and Charlie basically meet and become friendly, and it's all about the relationship that they develop together and realising who you are and coming out and being in your first relationships and how families react, how friends react, all that sort of stuff. I just absolutely love it. I think it's done so, so well. The artwork is absolutely wonderful. One of my favourite things about these is that they don't have like a normal linear structure to the boxes. So like in a normal graphic novel you have like box, 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 and in these they're always just like scattered, fragmented boxes, and I really like that. I don't know why, I just think it's great. And the next volume, volume 3, is coming out in February, so I'm very excited for that. I mean, I think I've already read everything that's in it at this point, but I don't care because it'll be the trip to Paris, and I'm really loving the trip to Paris, so I'm really excited for it. So definitely number 3, really, really love these books, and I'm just going to keep pre-ordering them until there aren't any more, and then I'll cry and just reread them constantly, because apparently there's only meant to be 4 volumes. So if there's only 4 volumes, that's not very many, is it? But I don't know, maybe she'll make it longer. Now in at number 2 we have the graphic novel that I don't have a copy of, unfortunately. This is because I lent it to my best friend. She's really into graphic novels as well. I just don't have it at the minute, but it is Be Prepared by Vera Brosgal. We'll insert the cover and try and insert a few pages from the illustrations and stuff so you can get a sense of the style of it. It's kind of semi-autobiographical in the way that like Sylvia Plath talks about the bell jar being like semi-autobiographical. It's that kind of a thing where it's like fictionalized but based on real events kind of. And it is about this little girl. All her friends keep going to camps for the summer. All her friends have a lot of money and she wants to be like the other girls. She tries having a party and having it like the other girls, but like they don't get the right pizza and the desserts are Russian instead of like American like whatever desserts and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's like she feels very left out because of her heritage, because she doesn't connect to being Russian, and because of her family not having as much money as she wishes that they did. She finds out about a Russian summer camp where the church kind of sends you for free, or they're like subsidized, so she could actually afford to go. So she begs her mum, and her mum lets her go, and she sends her brother as well, and they go to a summer camp for 2 weeks, and it's basically just a graphic novel about going to this summer camp. I love the little girl, I love the characters, I love the drawings. The drawings are all done really simply, and they all have this like green wash underneath because obviously all of it's happening in the forest. They're like camping and shit like that, so it's all done with this really beautiful green beneath it, which I just absolutely love. I love a graphic novel that's about like someone growing up, especially like children. It's a very like This One Summer kind of vibe, and I just loved it. It's so adorable, so fantastic, and I would highly recommend it. So that's number 2, which was very difficult because that is honestly one of the best graphic novels I've ever read, so it was hard to put it at number 2. I had to pick this one for number 1 because it's exactly what I want from a graphic novel. It ticks every single friggin' box that I have, which is really weird for me because a lot of graphic novels, like I can pretty much find exactly the kind of graphic novel I like now, but there are occasions where I pick one up and it just won't fit into that. And this author specifically, I picked one of her books up around the same time that I picked this one up, and it should have been perfect for me. It was non-fiction, it was a graphic novel, it was by someone I'd already previously liked a book by, it was about Paris, which is my favourite place on earth. but for some reason it didn't click with me. I didn't love it. So when I started reading this one, I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, but I loved it. So coming in at number 1 is Something New, Tales from a Makeshift Bride by Luchie Knisley. So this is Luchie Knisley's graphic memoir of her time planning her wedding. It is wonderful. Let me tell you now, reading this book takes a long time. I am someone who picks up a graphic novel when I have an afternoon free, when it's a Sunday, like a lazy Sunday where you're staying in bed, when I am having a long car journey. I keep my graphic novels specifically for times like that because I like to read them in one go. Like, graphic novels are one of the most immersive things. That's why I love them so much, and I think you can stay in them for so long. This, no, you can't do that with. It took forever to read it. There is so much writing, so much information on every page that it took me like 3 days, I think, which is just unheard of for me, but it was 3 days of like amazing. I absolutely love this. I love spending my time reading this. It's just wonderful. The things that I loved about this, she talks a lot about how she is a feminist, how she doesn't agree with traditional marriage values, and she tries to make her wedding subvert those like patriarchal ideas, which was really fun to read about. She's also an illustrator. She's a very creative person, and so she goes into the ways that she made her wedding how she wanted it. She made it creative. That was really, really beautiful. Like, she made her own veil. There was loads of stuff she did. She made like party favours. Her family actually built the barn that she got married in on her mum's land, and they talk about that. They talk about like decorating outside with all these fairy lights in the forest. It's just so cute. She also is bisexual, which I didn't know when I'd read both of her other books. I didn't realise. And then reading this one, she talks a lot about how does getting married cancel out her being a bisexual? Does it cancel out her past relationships with women, because everyone's going to assume that she's straight now? Also, when she was getting married, it wasn't legal, so she was saying like she didn't really want to get married when it still wasn't legal for her to go out and marry a woman at the same time because she's bi, and it does get passed during this book. But yeah, that was a really interesting thing to read about. I really enjoyed that. She also has a lot of these sections like this one where she gives you like info and trivia and stuff. This one is to do with like taking someone's name, how like she didn't want to take her husband's name because of like patriarchal ideas and stuff like that. The art style is just very simple and wonderful and lovely. I absolutely loved it. You also have pages like this, which is all about how they saved money, like I said, making her wedding dresses. I think she made her husband's tie. She had friends doing the food and things like that. If you are actually getting married, this might be a good money saving tip kind of book as well. Absolutely love this. Favourite book of the year, graphic novel wise, definitely. I absolutely adore it. And yesterday I started reading Kid Gloves, which is her next book. This is about her being in labour and pregnant and stuff. This, I haven't read this in 2019, I'm reading it now. It's January. But I'm just saying, this is also phenomenal and I'm really, really enjoying it. So yeah, she's a great one to invest in because her books are great and I'm loving them. This is the third one that I've read by her, and definitely my favourite book that I've read by her, closely followed by Relish, because Relish is lovely. And the other book that I read by her was French Milk, which I didn't love, unfortunately, but it isn't a reason to not give this a try. I'm not going to pick them up because they look pretty. They are one of my favourite graphic novels that I read this year. I had such a good graphic novel year last year. I really enjoy it, and I thought I would just make a video dedicated specifically to the graphic novels that I'd read, because that's what I want to do, because I like them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you read some graphic novels in 2019, please let me know what your favourites were. If there are any books that you've never heard me mention, definitely let me know what they are, because I'm always looking for new graphic novels. If you've read any of these ones, let me know what you thought of them. Let me know if you thought they were fantastic as well, or if you disagree. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!